My school name is Jawahar Navodaya Vidyalaya, Solapur Taluka, Mohon District, Solapur. My standard is 8th class and my story name is The Bed. It was a dark autumn night. The old banker was walking up and down and remembering how 15 years before he had given a party one autumn evening. Among other things, they had talked of capital punishment. I have not tried either the death penalty or imprisonment for life, but if one may judge a priori, the death penalty is more moral and more human than imprisonment for life. Capital punishment kills a man at once, but lifelong imprisonment kills him slowly. Among the guests was a younger lawyer. When he was asked his opinion, the death sentence and the life sentence are equally immoral, but if I had to choose between the death penalty and imprisonment for life, I would certainly choose the second. To live anyhow is the better than not at all. Banker struck table with his fist and shouted at the young man, "It's not true. I will bet you 2 million you would not stay in solitary confinement for 5 years. If you mean that in earnest," said the young man. "I will take the bet, but I would stay not 5 but 15. "Done," cried the banker. "Gentlemen, I stake 2 million. "Agreed. You stake your millions, I stake my freedom," said the young man. Then he remembered that followed evening. It was decided that the young man should spend the years of his captivity under the strictest supervision in one of the lodge in the banker's garden. He was allowed to have musical instruments and books, and was allowed to write letters, to drink wine, and to smoke. In the second half of the 6th year, the prisoner began zealously studying languages, philosophy, history. He threw himself agreeably to get him the books he ordered. The old man remembered all this and thought, "Tomorrow at 12 o'clock he will regain his freedom by our agreement. If I do pay him, I shall be utterly ruined." 15 years before, his millions had been beyond his reckoning. Now he was afraid to ask himself which were greater, his debts or his assets. "Cursed fate," muttered the old man, clutching his head in despair. Why didn't the man die? And he think about so much. At last he decided to bet him. It struck 3 o'clock. The banker surrendered. Everyone was asleep in the house. He went out of the house. He was asleep in the corner, and on the table there was a sheet of paper on which there was something written in fine handwriting. The banker took the page from the table and read, "Tomorrow at 12 o'clock I regain my freedom and the right to associate with other men. But before I leave this room and see the sunrise, I think it necessary to say a few words to you with a clear conscience. I tell you are before a God who beholds me that I despise freedom and life and health and all that in your books is called the good things of the world. Your books have given me wisdom, all that unresting thought of a man had created in the ages and compressed into a small compass in my brain to prove to you in action how I despise all that you live by, renounce the 2 million of which I once dreamed as of paradise, and which now I despise, disprove my safe of the right to the money. I shall go out from here 5 hours before the time fixed, and so break the compact. When the banker had read this, he laid the page on the table and went out of the lodge. When he got home, he lay on his bed, but his tears and emotions kept him for hours from sleeping. Next morning, the watchman ran with pale faces and told him they had seen the man who lived in the lodge climb out of the window into the garden, go to the gate, and disappear. The banker went to once with the servants to the lodge and made sure of the flight of the prisoner. To avoid arousing unnecessary talk, he took from the table the writing in which the millions were renounced, and when he got home, locked it up in the fireproof safe. Thank you.